Time Capsule, a Time Travel Academy short story for middle grades readers by Jay Wilburn. If you like what you read, check out the Time Travel Academy books. Dizzy Villajera never planned to be a time traveler, but now she and her new friends from the year 2225 must work together to preserve the past, protect the present, and save the future. In these particular stories, the kids, all middle schoolers, because it is a middle grades novel, for various reasons, she has to be with them in order to chase this guy who's kind of messed up time. So that's the premise, and then the stories kind of take you to different points in history where they try to fix something. All right, but we're going to write this story, and in the short stories, she has some friends in the past that are going to be, or in the future rather, that are going to be introduced at the end of book 4, which I've just finished writing, and but their stories have kind of been told in these short stories a little bit. Do you believe in teleportation? I guess it's possible if we come up with the technology in terms of a superpower. I haven't seen any evidence of it, but the world is full of strange and magnificent things, don't you think? Time travel possible? If I had to guess, I would say no, or not possible with the level of energy required. Again, but in the fantasy worlds, you can go with whatever you want. But at the same time, what we think is impossible now always tends to become possible in the future at different times. So who knows how that'll play out. All right, I'm going to begin writing, but again, feel free to jump into chat anytime. As I get to breaking points, I'll kind of jump back and forth between the chat and what I'm working on, so you're never interrupting me to make comments or ask questions in chat, and I'll just kind of go back and forth as I go along here. Very casual, and feel free to jump in anytime you're interested. And if you got other places to be, I understand. I won't hold it against you. It's a busy world out there. All right. Dizzy Villajera stood outside the door to the open chamber. Okay, first of all, let me spell a few things correctly, just for fun. Oh, thank you, Boo. I appreciate it. Dizzy Villajera stood outside the door to the open chamber. It wasn't the high-tech doors of the Time Travel Academy. She had grown used to in 2225. It was dirty and ancient, even by her standards, some 200 years in the past. That Jay Wilburn head with an exclamation point and a question mark, that could mean anything. That's the kind of emote that could be used for any reason, were the designer using it for that purpose, or creating it for that purpose. It was dirty and ancient, even by her standards, some 200 years in the past. Of course, she was stuck here in the future for her, and this problem needed solving. Meow, that was her real name, stood beside her. Hey, Roger, thanks for dropping in. Armand welcomed you before I did because he's far more polite. But I'm happy you're here too. All right, Meow, that was her real name, stood beside her. Let's see, Dizzy didn't think. Say hadn't thought. We're talking about a past participle. Not that anybody cares about that. Dizzy hadn't thought they would be friends when they first met. But now, Meow was one of the only people she could talk to about this stuff. Time was becoming quite a mess. Okay, time was becoming quite a mess. Dizzy had only just discovered that she was still alive in 2225. Of course, she was alive as an 8th grader. But Dizzy, at over 200 years old, was alive in 2225 as well. Now they were sent to another hidden place. Old Dizzy hadn't been specific about whether she had set up this room or not. She had only messaged Meow and younger Dizzy that it was time. She'd only messaged Meow and younger Dizzy that it was time to open this place. Time. What a mess. Hey Tom, thank you for being here. An emote each for Armand and myself. Thank you so much. Time, what a mess. Dizzy's mom would call it a hot mess. Dizzy always rolled her eyes when Mom talked like that. She rolled her eyes now as she and Meow stood in front of the open door with musty odors coming out of the cold darkness. I'm waiting for some cursed mummy to come out and grab us, Meow said. Dizzy shrugged. How long do you want to wait? I say, how long do you want to wait for it? Haha. Okay. Meow rolled her eyes. Rolled her own eyes. You are so old and funny. Alright. We could just leave it. Dizzy said. You said it was important, though. Meow narrowed her eyes. Old you, I mean. She said we needed to open it. It must be important for protecting the past. Dizzy sighed and actually saw her breath as it mixed. Okay, let me spell that correctly. As it mixed with the cold, wafting out of this dirty time capsule room. Let's see. Everything these days seems important for saving the past. Okay, I had another idea in my head, but now I lost it. Okay, yes, I got it. Okay. Let's see. They had already found a diary that the Time Travel Academy had, Academy had locked away, but not before Meow scanned it. Then Meow started getting messages that she passed on to younger Dizzy. Now they both knew about older Dizzy and her efforts to help them. Okay, Dizzy said finally, trying to portray more confidence than she actually had. Let's check this out. Meow grabbed Dizzy by the arm and halted her outside the door. Maybe you shouldn't go in. Is it about the mummy? No, I mean, Meow paused and stared into the dark passage as if she were considering the possibility again. She shook her head firmly, though her eyes still showed fear. I mean, no, not that. Maybe you should wait out here in case there is something about your future you shouldn't know yet. Dizzy laughed, but it sounded brittle in her own ears. I shouldn't know any of this. I should be going to school in my own time without all this nonsense. Well, yes, but that's what I mean. Maybe someone else should check first to be sure you don't learn something that changes time. Old me sent us, though. Right. But the last time we saw her, old you said to be careful. Maybe this is what you meant. So you want to go in first? Meow stared through the open door, like she was spying mummies again. I mean, I don't want to go in there alone. So we'll go in together. I'll say Meow gripped Dizzy's. Okay. Meow gripped Dizzy's arm harder. No, someone else. Dizzy peeled Meow's fingers away from the red marks they left on her skin. We have ourselves a paradox. Those can destroy the universe, I'm told. Meow sighed and said, I wish it was just a mummy. Here they are. Both Dizzy and Meow turned with a scream each that echoed into the mysterious space. Okay. Let me add here. They were both thinking of ancient cursed mummies sneaking up from behind them. Of course, that made no sense. The cursed mummies would have to come from the passage. So, yeah, the passage, right? Alright. Okay. The voice belonged to, I almost forgot my character's name. Belonged to Zen Limbe, one of the other students who had to help Dizzy protect time. With him were Talent and Koi, both friends of Meow, and now friends of Dizzy as well. What are you two up to? Talent demanded. This is miles from the school. This is miles from the school, Koi added. Zane had to throw in something else. Okay, let me spell that correctly. Had to throw in something else as well. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Meow demanded. Are you following us? No, Zane said, and looked away. We're just Talent cut in. Of course, we followed you. How would we have found you otherwise? You've both been acting weird for a long time. You've left the school in secret a bunch of times. And you act like we're the crazy ones every time we try to ask you what is going on. So, what's going on? Did you tell any of the teachers? Dizzy asked. No, Zane said. I wanted to, because that's what we're supposed to do, but I didn't. I might have to, depending on what this is all about. Meow rolled her eyes and muttered, he's worse than a cursed mummy. He's a cursed tattletale. Hey, that's not nice, Zane said. Hey, that's not nice, Zane said. What does it even mean? Meow shrugged. I don't know exactly. I learned it from Dizzy, but that is what you are. Dizzy held up her hands. Listen, everybody stop. Say everybody just stop. I can explain. Everyone waited as Dizzy tried to think of the right words. Wow, she said finally. I really overestimated my ability to sum this all up. This is none of your business, Meow said. We are on a secret mission, so you'll all have to go and keep your mouths shut. Keep Zane's tattletale. I think I spelled that wrong. It should be tattletale, not tattletale. I'll have to go back and check it. That'll be an edit for later. Keep Zane's tattletale mouth closed too. Alright, so here it would need to be a dash. Alright. Hey, Zane said. I don't know what that means, but I'm not that. I haven't told anyone yet. Meow grumbled. Dizzy spoke in a rush. Meow scanned the diary that was found in the wall under my old house. It was me from after all this, writing out future instructions. Turns out I'm still alive in this time. It turns out I'm still alive in this time and started sending messages to Meow, who passed them on to me. I figured out it was her, and then we went to see old me. Then old me said we needed to go here now, but we don't know what is in here, and we're afraid of mummies or destroying the universe in some time paradox. So now, who's the tattletale? Meow asked. What? Zane said. He started to say something else, but then just repeated, what? Dizzy took a deep breath and said, all right, I'm going to copy a little bit of this. Okay, control copy, and we'll plug that in here. All right. Dizzy took a deep breath and said, Meow scanned the diary that was in the wall under my house. It was me from after all this writing out future. All right, let's say have talent said, no, we got it all. It's just taking us a second to process it. Oh, okay. Dizzy said, I was hoping I wouldn't have to go through it all again. Probably it is fine, Meow said. I can't imagine that old Dizzy would send us into trouble. She already knows how this works out. But we should check it out first to be sure it's safe for young Dizzy to see it all. Right? Zane said. Meow swallowed twice. I hate to agree with you, but yes, that's right. We could go in together while Dizzy waits out here, Coy said. Alright, first let me fix all this. I managed to hit keys on the right of everything I was trying to hit there just now. We could go in together while Dizzy waits out here, Koi said. All of us can see what's in there together. And then what Dizzy can see without destroying the universe. And if there is a mummy, Zane said, we can all fight it. There's not going to be a mummy, Talent said. And if there is, it won't fight us. It'll just lay there. Let's go. Everyone went in except Dizzy. They turned a corner and were gone. She held both sides of the door and listened. Still, there was no noise. Alright, guys. Nothing. Hey, can you hear me? There was an echo, but nothing else. Are you okay? She didn't wait for an answer this time. She stepped into the passage. She only made it a few steps before Meow's echoing voice called back. We're going through some stuff. No, that's not the way to say that. We're looking through a bunch of stuff in here. Just go sit down and wait. Dizzy stepped back outside and sat on the grass in the sun. Alright. She mumbled. You were the one afraid of mummies. After a long while, Zane came running out toward her. She started to get up, but he shouted, "No, stay there. I just have a question." Dizzy waited. Zane asked, "What's your favorite color?" What? He said it louder and slower. Okay, no, I don't need a quotation mark there. He said it louder and slower, like she was dumb. What is your favorite color? I like all the colors, she said as she stared down at her colorful shirt. Alright, let me see if I can spell that correctly. She stared down at her colorful shirt. If I had to pick one, no, I like all of them. Maybe rainbow is my favorite color. Okay, good. He ran back inside without explaining. A little later, Coy stepped out. Dizzy started to get up, but Coy said, "I just have a quick question." Alright. Dizzy sat back down. What was your favorite pet? No, what was your first pet? I had, my dad, let's make this two things. My dad had, Dizzy thought for a moment. No, it was a turtle. Coy frowned, but didn't say anything. Dizzy started again. No, it was a goldfish. Coy smiled. What was its name? The fish. Dizzy thought. I think it was Booger. What was the fish's full name? Full name? It was a fish, Dizzy said. I was 3 years old, and no, wait, I remember. It was Commander Booger. Master of the Oceans. Koi nodded. Okay, good. As she ran away, Dizzy called after her. What's going on? We'll be done soon. We'll be done soon, Koi said, and then she was gone. This continued all afternoon with Zane, Talent, and Koi coming out with more and more questions. What happened at the beach when you were 5 and you got stung by a jellyfish? Let's change that to after. What car did you love the most when you were 7? What did you want to be when you grew up? What did you want to be when you grew up? Back when you were 9 and you stopped watching cartoons for a week. What did your aunt get you for Christmas that made you think she was a witch? Why did you stop eating avocados? Okay. What was the secret password for your clubhouse? This summer you turned 10. No, say you were 10. I don't know when her birthday is, so I don't want to say it's in the summer. Alright, say this went on and on. I might add some more questions in there. This went on and on. Finally, Meow stepped out of the tunnel. Dizzy looked up with weary eyes and waited for another crazy question. Finally, Meow stepped out of the tunnel. Dizzy looked up with weary eyes and waited for another question. Meow did ask one. What are you waiting for? Come on. Dizzy stood up and walked toward Meow slowly. Her legs were numb from sitting on the ground so long. What's in there, Meow? A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, she said. Come and see. Why were you asking me so many questions? We just wanted to be sure all of it was real. How did the questions help? Meow said each box, said some of the boxes had a question on top. And we were only supposed to open them if you knew the answer. Why? Meow shrugged. This all doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But there is a bunch of stuff we need to look at together now. Let's say Dizzy stared into the dark a moment longer. Meow finally took her hand and said, "No cursed mummies, I promise. Let's go together." And they went inside the strange time capsule together.